Iota Technology. Iota is an open-source distributed ledger and cryptocurrency designed for the Internet of Things, IoT. It uses a directed acyclic graph to store transactions on its ledger, motivated by a potentially higher scalability over blockchain-based distributed ledgers. Iota does not use miners to validate transactions. Instead, users that issue a new transaction must approve two previous transactions and perform a small amount of proof of work. Transactions can therefore be issued without fees, facilitating microtransactions. Iota has been criticized due to its unusual design, of which it is unclear whether it will work in practice. The network currently achieves consensus through a coordinator node, operated by the Iota Foundation. As the coordinator is a single point of failure, the network is currently centralized. As a speculative blockchain and cryptocurrency-related technology, Iota has been the target of phishing, scamming, and hacking attempts, which resulted in the thefts of user tokens and extended periods of downtime. History. The Iota ledger was created in 2015 by David Sonstebo, Dominic Skeena, Sergey Ivanchklo, and Sergey Popov. Initial development was funded by an online public crowd sale, with the participants buying the Iota value token with other digital currencies. Approximately 1,300 BTC were raised, corresponding to approximately $500,000 at that time, and the total token supply was distributed pro rata over the initial investors. The Iota network went live in 2016. Iota Foundation. In 2017, early Iota token investors donated 5% of the total token supply for continued development and to endow what later became the Iota Foundation. In 2018, the Iota Foundation was chartered as a Stiftung in Berlin, with the goal to assist in the research and development, education and standardization of Iota technology. The Iota Foundation is a board member of International Association for Trusted Blockchain Applications, INATBA, and founding member of the Trusted IoT Alliance and Mobility Open Blockchain Initiative, MOBI, to promote blockchain and distributed ledgers in regulatory approaches, the IoT ecosystem and mobility. Following a dispute between Iota founders David Sonstebo and Sergey Ivanchklo, Ivanchklo resigned from the board of directors on the 23rd of June 2019. On the 10th of December 2020, the Iota Foundation Board of Directors and Supervisory Board announced that the foundation officially parted ways with David Sonstebo. Dci Vulnerability Disclosure. On the 8th of September 2017, researchers Ethan Heilman from Boston University and Neha Narula et al. From MIT's Digital Currency Initiative, DCI, reported on potential security flaws with Iota's curl P27 hash function. The Iota Foundation received considerable backlash in their handling of the incident. FT Alphaville reported legal posturing by an Iota founder against a security researcher for his involvement in the DCI report, as well as instances of aggressive language leveled against a Forbes contributor and other unnamed journalists covering the DCI report. The Centre for Blockchain Technologies at the University College London severed ties with the Iota Foundation due to legal threats against security researchers involved in the report. Attacks. On January 2018, more than $10 million worth of Iota tokens were stolen from users that used a malicious online seed creator, a password that protects their ownership of Iota tokens. The seed generator scam was the largest fraud in Iota history to date, with over 85 victims. In January 2019, the UK and German law enforcement agencies arrested a 36-year-old man from Oxford, England, believed to be behind the theft. On the 26th of November 2019, a hacker discovered a vulnerability in a third-party payment service integrated in the mobile and desktop wallet managed by the Iota Foundation. The attacker compromised over 50 Iota seeds, resulting in the theft of approximately $2 million worth in Iota tokens. After receiving reports that hackers were stealing funds from user wallets, the Iota Foundation shut down the coordinator on the 12th of February 2020. This had the side effect of effectively shutting down the entire Iota cryptocurrency. Users at risk were given 7 days to migrate their potentially compromised seed to a new seed, until the 7th of March 2020. The coordinator was restarted on the 10th of March 2020. Iota 1.5, Chrysalis, and Iota 2.0, Coordicide. The Iota network is currently centralized. A transaction on the network is considered valid if and only if it is referenced by a milestone issued by a node operated by the Iota Foundation called the coordinator. In 2019, the Iota Foundation announced that it would like to operate the network without a coordinator in the future. This is planned in 2 stages, termed Chrysalis for Iota 1.5 and Coordicide for Iota 2.0. In Chrysalis, the network will leave its controversial design choices such as ternary and Winternit's one-time signatures, to create an enterprise-ready blockchain solution. In parallel, Coordicide will be developed, to create a distributed network that no longer relies on the coordinator for consensus. Early testnets of both Chrysalis and Coordicide were deployed late 2020, however the actual timeline remains unclear. TNW said, some supporters speculated the Coordicide implementation could drag on for a little while. It seems they were at least partially right. Characteristics. The Tangle. The Tangle is the moniker used to describe Iota's directed acyclic graph, DAG, transaction settlement and data integrity layer. It is structured as a string of individual transactions that are interlinked to each other and stored through a network of node participants. The Tangle does not have miners validating transactions, rather, network participants are jointly responsible for transaction validation, and must confirm 2 transactions already submitted to the network for every 1 transaction they issue. Transactions can therefore be issued to the network at no cost, facilitating micropayments. To avoid spam, every transaction requires computational resources based on proof-of-work (POW) algorithms, to find the answer to a simple cryptographic puzzle. Iota supports both value and data transfers. A second-layer protocol provides encryption and authentication of messages, or data streams, transmitted and stored on the Tangle as zero-value transactions. Each message holds a reference to the address of a follow-up message, connecting the messages in a data stream, and providing forward secrecy. Authorized parties with the correct decryption key can therefore only follow a data stream from their point of entry. When the owner of the data stream wants to revoke access, it can change the decryption key when publishing a new message. This provides the owner granular controls over the way in which data is exchanged to authorized parties. Iota Token. The Iota token is a unit of value in the Iota network. There is a fixed supply of 2,579,530,283,277,761 Iota tokens in circulation on the Iota network. Iota tokens are stored in Iota wallets protected by an 81-character seed, similar to a password. To access and spend the tokens, Iota provides a cryptocurrency wallet. A hardware wallet can be used to keep credentials offline while facilitating transactions. Coordinator node. Iota requires a majority of honest actors to prevent network attacks. However, as the concept of mining does not exist on the Iota network, it is unlikely that this requirement will always be met. Therefore, consensus is currently obtained through referencing of transactions issued by a special node operated by the Iota Foundation, called the coordinator. The coordinator issues zero-value transactions at given time intervals, called milestones. Any transaction, directly or indirectly, referenced by such a milestone is considered valid by the nodes in the network. The coordinator is an authority operated by the Iota Foundation and as such single point of failure for the Iota network, which makes the network centralized. Markets. Iota is traded on digital currency exchanges such as Bitfinex, and listed under the Iota ticker symbol for the cryptocurrency. Like other digital currencies, Iota's token value has soared and fallen. Applications and testbeds. Proof of concepts building on Iota technology are being developed in the automotive and IoT industry by corporates as Jaguar Land Rover, ST Microelectronics and Bosch. Iota is a participant in smart city testbeds to establish digital identity, waste management and local trade of energy. In Project Alvarium, formed under the Linux Foundation, Iota is used as an immutable storage and validation mechanism. The privacy-centered search engine Zane uses Iota as a trust anchor for its aggregated AI model. On the 11th of February 2020, the Eclipse Foundation and Iota Foundation jointly launched the Tangle EE Enterprise Edition working group. Tangle EE is aimed at enterprise users that can take Iota technology and enable larger organizations to build applications on top of the project, where the Eclipse Foundation will provide a vendor-neutral governance framework. Announcements of partners were critically received. In 2017, Iota released the Data Marketplace, a pilot for a market where connected sensors or devices can store, sell or purchase data. The Data Marketplace was received critically by the cryptocurrency community over the extent of the involvement of the participants of the Data Marketplace, suggesting that the Iota Foundation was actively asking publications to use Microsoft's name following the Data Marketplace announcement. Isabel Kaminska criticized a Jaguar press release. Our interpretation is that it's very unlikely Jaguar will be bringing a smart wallet-enabled marketplace anytime soon. Criticism. Iota promises to achieve the same benefits that blockchain-based DLTs bring: decentralization, distribution, immutability and trust, but remove the downsides of wasted resources associated with mining as well as transaction costs. However, several of the design features of Iota are unusual, and it is unclear whether they work in practice. Network consensus and coordinator node. The security of Iota's consensus mechanism against double spending attacks is unclear, as long as the network is immature. Essentially, in the IoT, with heterogeneous devices having varying levels of low computational power, sufficiently strong computational resources will render the Tangle insecure. This is a problem in traditional proof-of-work blockchains as well. However, they provide a much greater degree of security through higher fault tolerance and transaction fees. At the beginning, when there is a lower number of participants and incoming transactions, a central coordinator is needed to prevent an attack on the Iota Tangle. Critics have opposed the role of the coordinator for being the single source of consensus in the Iota network. Polychain Capital founder Carlson Wee says Iota is not decentralized, even though Iota makes that claim, because it has a central coordinator node that the network needs to operate. If a regulator or a hacker shut down the coordinator node, the network would go down. This was demonstrated during the Trinity attack incident, when the Iota Foundation shut down the coordinator to prevent further thefts. Following a discovered vulnerability in October 2017, the Iota Foundation transferred potentially compromised funds to addresses under its control, providing a process for users to later apply to the Iota Foundation in order to reclaim their funds. Additionally, Iota has seen several network outages as a result of bugs in the coordinator as well as DDoS attacks. During the C-Generator scam, a DDoS network attack was abused, leaving initial thefts undetected. Last year the Iota Foundation announced that it would like to operate the network without a coordinator in the future, but implementation of this is still in an early development phase. Signature scheme. For potential efficiency reasons, Iota's data structures uses a balanced ternary implementation. Instead of bits, it uses trits, -1, 0, 1. Its signature scheme is resistant against quantum computer attacks, due to its use of the WINT-init's one-time signature, WOTS, scheme. Unlike traditional WINT-inits, Iota users sign the hash of a message. With all existing hash designs being binary, a ternary prototype called curl-P had been developed, instead of the well-studied alternatives that underpin other digital coins. However, efficient cryptanalytic attacks on curl-P have been devised, implying that it cannot be considered a strong cryptographic hash function. Furthermore, due to Iota's choice of a one-time signature scheme, spending from an address multiple times drastically reduces the security of the funds at that address, because it exposes portions of the private key associated with the address. After vulnerabilities were detected in curl P, the hashing algorithm was changed to curl, which is considered safe. A drop-in replacement, called Troika, was later developed but never implemented. With Chrysalis and Coordicide, Iota Foundation plans to move to a binary implementation and change the signature scheme to ED 25519 in order to create a more enterprise-ready blockchain solution, although the timing is unclear.